So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the greatest watch market update show and the only public service watch announcement channel. This is a free service that we give in this channel. Free, so you don't get flim-flammed and fleeced by these hucksters and hoodwinks. You know what I'm saying? So we do this for free, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to start by telling all of you that we have a watch platform. It's a channel. I don't know, it's something that we have in Bookface. And if you go to Bookface, you go under, my name is Juan Felipe Nieves. You go to under or about, and you'll find there Opus in Time Watches. And you might request to join the channel, and maybe Sweet Kid Kino, who is here today, will let you in the channel, or my secretary, Samantha. So just to let you know, try to join, that watch channel that we have there. It's a very nice, channel. The ones that take care of the channel is Sweet Kid Kino, Kino to me, Joaquin to you, and Samantha. They're the ones that decide who comes in and who leaves, just to let you know. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to know something, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I really mean this. There's no need to continue making these live streams. There's no need in reality, ladies and gentlemen. And you might be asking yourself, well, what do you mean, Juan? What do you mean there's no need? Well, there's no need because the watch market is dead. Because the watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen, whether you want to believe it or not. There's no more channels out there. We finished them off. Scoot. We brushed them away. There's no more, no more free content out there. There's no more free content because there's no more lollipop suckers and window lickers and crayon eaters, tomato cans, possum kickers, sandbags, cow tippers. There's no more Palmolive dish lickers no more, to get taken, because we have done this. We have finished. We have disrupted. We have rattled. We have dismantled the Muppet Boiler Room secondary grade watch market all by ourselves. Sweet Kid Kino to me, Joaquin to you, we have done it all for free. So ladies and gentlemen, there's no need no more. There's no more. Now what you have now, this is the new thing. What you have now is watch channels who are selling you watch investments. Unbelievable but true. But you guys have to know the truth, Scooby-Doo. You guys have to know the truth. I make it funny for you guys. I make it nice so you guys can relax and enjoy the show. We don't have to be serious in this channel, but we got to tell you the truth. The watch market is dead, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is buying watches. Nobody is buying watches. I want to take a moment to tell all of you that I'm very proud of all of you out there. They had this watch auction in Las Vegas, and we had it from this gentleman by the name Eugene, aka Jacob McChicken. The SEC shut you down. He had this auction going on, ladies and gentlemen, with old dusty looking watches, watches that he paid $1,000, $2,000, wishy-washy watches, ladies watches, 28 millimeter by 32, 26 millimeter by 31. Maybe you guys like those watches, and there's not a problem. The problem is the prices that he was charging for those watches, and telling you fantasies that his expertise on those watches are going to go 1,000%, 5,000%, and that his watches are going to go through the years to $1 million. If you're nice, we can let you go by and do your show. But when you start talking about, $1 million, that the watches are going to go to $1 million, this watch you buy for 25, and a year from now go to $35,000. Eugene, you got to stop fleecing people out there, Bobby. Come on, we know who you are. Listen to me, Eugene. I want you to know something. Your friend, your competitor friend in the stock market, Chris, he sends his regards to you. Chris, Chris real well, and we know him too. We know all about you, Eugene. So I'm just telling you that Chris, the guy, your competition, he sends his regards from the stock market too. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very proud of all of you. I'm very proud of all of you. for not buying a single watch from this man. His auction was a total failure, a total failure. And it was done by no other than Sweet Kick Kino and me. You know, we made it happen. We passed the word around, you know. We spread the word around of what the prices of those old dusty looking watches that he had there were gonna go for. He was talking about a Piaget, you know, Asprey Dow that was gonna go to $75,000. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta be asleep to believe this guy. You know, you gotta be asleep to believe this guy, ladies and gentlemen, you know? So I'm happy that all of you did the right thing and you attacked him. You attacked him. So, Eugene, you know, my audience, there ain't no lollipop suckers here, you know? There ain't no lollipop suckers. They're for real. They know what they're doing. They know what you were doing. You were trying to fleece them. You were trying to fleece him, but thank God we have a gentleman that used to look at you and he knows you real well and he's telling us everything about you, who you are, and the way you manage your life. You know, you're a vagrant walker running around in San Francisco ready to wax people's sinus congestion. If not, you're in Las Vegas walking around with the buffaloes. You know, you're like the Buffalo Park Ranger, you know? So we're happy that everything is been good, you know? That none of my subscribers fell for your tricks, you know? Fell for your tricks. You know, tricks are for kids, Papi. You gotta stop that. And ladies and gentlemen, I want all of you to know something. And it's good to be in the religious field and practice religious and have some kind of faith. But on Saturdays, you will never see Eugene on TV. You will never see him. You know, you will never see him in a live stream because he's in the temple. You know, he's praying. You know, over there, he's praying over there with his rabbi. If his rabbi would know what he's doing, which, you know, this gentleman that knows him, Chris, they're about to send all this information to over there to the lawyer, you know, to the lawyer, because this guy, if you know who he is, you're gonna freak out. You're gonna. I'm telling you what it is. You know, Eugene he's a malignant narcissist. You know, malignant. So be careful, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, we have all these connections. And ladies and gentlemen, one more time, I'm proud of all of you, not for falling for that Las Vegas watch auction with old, dusty-looking watches like his old, dusty-looking Bentley. Unbelievable, that guy, you know? He's walking around vagrant, crazy, you know? Small little hands, smooth as silk. Kino's dying to put him a wig and put some lipstick on him, and he's going to finish him off. That's what Kino told me. Unbelievable. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to know again, you know, I was traveling, you know, I was doing a little traveling, you know, with the wife, and, you know, we were doing, you know, doing the mushy stuff, you know, me and the wife, you know. So I'm back, you know, I just got back in today, you know, and I want to give you guys a watch market update show. We have a lot of people that have reached out to me asking me if I'm fine, and yes, I'm fine. I just, you know, I went out for a couple of days to do some things with the wife, you know. I hope you guys understand that. Everything is good, you know. So we want you to know that everything is fine and dandy. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to take the time to tell you that American money was once backed up by gold. You know, American money was once backed up, you know, with gold until that guy, you know, the guy that was in Pennsylvania Avenue, you know, he was in Pennsylvania Avenue, Richard Nixon, you know, until he changed the economy forever. You know, in 1971, he changed the economy forever, and the American money was not backed up any longer by gold. And gold is going all the way up to the moon, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, when I was over there out of town, when I was flying with my wife, you know, and I was looking at everything, I was following the gold prices and the silver prices and the platinum and palladium, rhodium. Man, I had the biggest smile in my face, you know. I had the biggest smile, you know. It's unbelievable, you know, what we have here, you know. This friend of mine, you know, he gave me all these hats, you know, when I was out of town, you know, he gave me all these hats, and And I don't know. These people are crazy. You know, they give me these hats because they say that I'm popular. Unbelievable, those people, you know. So they gave me this hat, you know. I don't know if you see what it says there, but there it is. And he told me if I could, you know, put it in my channel and so he can try to sell it. You know, he's asking for these hats $100 a hat, you know, $100. You know, these are professional hats, you know, it's unbelievable. You know, that's what he told me. You know, it has that there. I'm gonna do him the favor, you know, to see if I can sell him a couple, you know. Unbelievable, that guy, you know. But anyway, guys, while I was in vacation, you know, over there, and I was seeing the way gold was behaving and silver was behaving, ladies and gentlemen, I had the biggest smile ear to ear. You know, not for me, for my audience, for my organic watch channel subscribers. I was, you know, increíble. Yo estaba feliz, you know. You know what feliz is? Feliz, you know. If you don't know what feliz is, you Google it, because I'm not going to tell you. And neither Sweet Kikino. We're not here to baby you no more. You guys are adults already. You guys are smart, all right? But ladies and gentlemen, you know, I have 18 organic watch channel subscribers and 8 thumbs up. Coño, ustedes no me dan ni un cariño. You know, not even a little love you guys give me, you know? It's like, you know, you want, this channel's gonna go away. I'm telling you, it's gonna go away and you're gonna be all alone so they can do this to you again. Real deep, you know, all along. The one that has stopped the bleeding in this industry is me. No other than, you know, no other than me and Sweet Kikino. We have disrupted, we have rattled, we have dismantled the Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market, ladies and gentlemen. We have. Ladies and gentlemen, again, going to that goal. You know, I want you guys to know, ladies and gentlemen, that metals is the way to go. You know, precious metals is the way to go. I've been telling you people for the longest, ladies and gentlemen, that metals is the way to go. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start it off with no other than rhodium. You know, the troy ounce price of rhodium. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. I couldn't believe it. I was drinking a piña colada with my wife, you know, sitting down. The beach was hitting me, you know, unbelievable. And ladies and gentlemen, the price of rhodium, the troy ounce price of rhodium is $10,550 a troy ounce. That is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. You know what that is? It's unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, the price of palladium, the troy ounce of palladium is $2,040 a troy ounce. Papi, this is unheard of, Papa. This is unheard of. And ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you this one, this is going to blow your hair back and knock your socks off. The price of platinum, ladies and gentlemen, is going all the way up. It's going all the way up. No matter what they keep on telling you, that it's going to go down. It's going to go all the way up. Esto no lo salva nadie. This is not, nobody's going to survive this, ladies and gentlemen. The price of platinum, ladies and gentlemen, is $2,788 a troy ounce. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to keep this one for last, but I'm going to have to tell you the fourth one. And I told you that you're not going to believe when this precious metal hits 3-digit numbers, you know? It was just, at one time, if you don't know this, you're going to know it today. At one time, this precious metal material was a 1-digit number, you know? $9.30, $5.46. You know what I'm saying? You catching me? And then it went to 2 digits. Real low 2 digits, ladies and gentlemen. And I've been telling you people for the longest. And you guys were like, you know, who's this crazy bum? You know, who's this crazy bum? And I'm talking about no other than the white stuff. You know, I'm talking about the white stuff, ladies and gentlemen. The white stuff is going to become, you know, this is what you people, we are going to be able to purchase the white stuff. We're going to be able to purchase the white stuff because the other stuff, we're not going to be able to purchase it, ladies and gentlemen. But I told you about, you know, it had 1 digit with cents, and then it went to 2 digits with cents, very low, and it kept on going up and up. And I kept on telling you, wait till this precious metal goes to 3 digits, you know, in a number, 3 digits, ladies and gentlemen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that time has come. Yes, that time has come, ladies and gentlemen. And you're not going to believe this, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot continue maintaining these flim-flammers lifestyle. You cannot. You got to be smart. You got to be smart as the way they do it to you. You know, they do it smart to you too, you know, because they see you guys as crumb bums, sandbags, you know, tomato cans, window lickers. And ladies and gentlemen, silver hit the number of $100 a troy ounce. $100 a troy ounce, papi. 100 pesos, $100, 100 chavitos, you know, 100 chavos, 100 plata, 100 euros. You don't know what I say? You Google it, because I'm not going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. This is the #1 watch market update show in the world, chosen by no other than Fudinki. That's right. And also Sachs Goldman. They say we are the best. They say we are the best, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they tell us. They always write to us and tell us, you guys are unbelievable. Your show, we don't know how they have you on lockdown, but your show is powerful. That's what they tell us always. And I'm telling you, we've been chosen as that, ladies and gentlemen. Silver hit the white stuff. You know, not the white stuff that the guy from Scarface used to play with, or the guys here in Miami play with. No. Silver, we call silver the white stuff, hit $100 a troy ounce, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable but true. And ladies and gentlemen, this one I'm gonna tell you because I'm gonna be honest, guys. I only, you know, when I started telling you people about gold, man, I'm telling you, it was at 14 and change, $1,500, you know, a troy ounce, you know, gold, pure gold, 24 karat. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna take the liberty. I'm gonna take the liberty to tell you, you know, to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, that gold is going all the way to the moon, all the way to the moon, where it's going to be almost impossible to have anything that's gold, you know? Anything that's gold is going to be impossible for you to have, you know? It's going to be impossible, like this Cartier ring that my wife gave me many years ago, you know? This is an original Cartier band, you know? Fat one, you know? It's like a love ring. I don't know what this is, you know? But ladies and gentlemen, gold went all the way up to $5,000 a troy ounce. $5,000 a troy ounce. And you people didn't believe me, ladies and gentlemen. Esta gente no me creían, Kino. Ellos no me creían. Ellos, Kino, no me creían. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. That part, I'm going to take the liberty, you know, and I'm going to take, you know, all the credit about gold. It wasn't Kino, it was me. Kino would look for me certain things, you know, some data and information, but the one that, you know, knew all about this was me. I take all of it. I take all responsibility, all credit, Papa. All credit para ustedes los lambones y los palomos. You know what lambón is? You know what palomo is? That's who you are. You guys are a bunch of sandbags and crumb bums because you guys didn't listen to me. I told you when it was at 14 and change, $1,500. And today it's at $5,000 a troy ounce. Let that sink in your head. $5,000 a troy ounce. Gold is for the rich. Oro es para el rico, papi. You don't want to believe me? El oro es para el rico. You know? El oro es para el rico. Gold is for rich people. No para lambones. No para lambones y palomos. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take the liberty to tell you this because you guys need to hear this. What I'm going to tell you now is important. And listen to me carefully. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not going to be able to buy any more gold watches. 18 karat gold watches. It's going to be impossible for you to buy a gold watch at $5,000 a troy ounce. 5,000. I believe an ounce. You know, I believe that in an ounce you have like 32. I don't know what it is. You know, you have some grams, right? You have grams. Let's say an example. A Rolex. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen. A Rolex Submariner, right? A Rolex Submariner, white gold, 41 millimeter, black dial, blue ceramic bezel. I have that watch. Ladies and gentlemen, that watch has approximately 200 and something, 200 and something grams, right? 200 and something grams. Rolex factory takes that watch and they purify the white gold, they put some chemicals, they put this and that, and it gets even stronger than 18 karat gold. It's an example, right? So let's say that watch has $23,000 in gold. This is for your information, para que se preparen. You guys have to wait for me to tell you all this. You guys gotta wait for me. So you have that watch. Rolex sells it to one of their authorized dealers for, a 40% off the retail price, right? That watch costs $37,500 was the retail price of that watch. Today, that watch, that Submariner, jumped up all the way up. Listen and learn. All the way up. I said $37,500, that watch. Was once $37,500 and 40% off to the authorized dealer. They take off 40%. Can somebody help me out with the math here? If you take off 40% of the $37,500, how much does the watch cost? Come on, help me out. Help me out. I'm giving you some kind of a, job here to do for me. Help me out. Anyway, so you have that watch. You bought it for $37,500. Rolex sell it to the AD. AD gets a 40% off. Ladies and gentlemen, that watch went all the way up to $58,000. That same watch went all the way to $58,000. 58,000 maracas. $58,000. $58,000. People are helping me here. Look at that. It costs $22,500. But you have $23,000 in gold today. Does it make any sense for Rolex AD to give that watch to the authorized dealer with a 40% off, and they're selling it for $22,000, but gold costs today $23,000 in that same sub? They can't do it, papi. I'm coming in the defense. I'm coming on Rolex defense. And this is what's going to happen with all those ADs. It already happened to Cartier. Cartier was getting a 45% off. And they told Cartier, Cartier told these authorized dealers, listen, if you want to stay with the line, there's no problem. But the discount we can give you on the watches is not a 45, it's a 25. Boom! Pa dentro, pa dentro. Nobody's going to talk to you the way I talk to. Nobody's going to talk the way I talk. Nobody. So that's Cartier. Cartier already did it. So some of these authorized dealers are pulling back. Can we live with a 25%? We're not getting no more 45. We're getting a 25%. They took away a 20 from us. We're talking about Cartier, right? But ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to believe this. We're going to go back to the Rolex Submariner. Ladies and gentlemen, 28 subscribers and 12 thumbs up. You guys are miserable. You guys are miserable. Son miserables. You guys are miserable. I shouldn't even continue talking. I shouldn't even, you know what it is? 30 subscribers and only 13 thumbs up. What I'm telling you right now, I'm giving you some information that nobody would ever tell you. But I will, because I'm stupid like that. Because I'm stupid. Me and Sweet Kikino, we're stupid like that. We work for free for a thumbs up, and we don't even get that. We don't even get that. No, Kino, no te metas en esto, Kino, no te metas. Kino, no te metas, papi, no te metas. Si son unos lambones. Son unos lambones. Manishma. Son manishma. Manishma. Son unos lambones. I'm giving these people information that Monday morning, they can talk to other people and say, hey, where did this guy learn all this shit? Shit is not a bad word, right? They're going to say, where did this guy learn all this stuff? You know, where they learn? They learn it, you know, from who? They learn it from me, from Joaquin. Joaquin to you. You learn it from Joaquin. Not me, because the one that prepares the show is no other than Sweet Kino to me, Joaquin to you. But you know, I see that the thumbs up are moving, so only 4 of them moved up, so I'm going to keep on now. We're going to go back. I told you about Cartier, 45% off. You know, the factory at Cartier told them, we can't work no more with a 45 with you. gold is going to the moon, we can give you 25% if you want to stay. If you want, no hard feeling, you can give us back the line y te vas pa'l carajo. ¿Tú entendiste? Te vas pa'l carajo. Eso es lo que hay. You know? So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. You got that part of Cartier. We're going to go back to Rolex, now the Submariner. I told you that the watch cost the dealer $22,000. Somebody put $22,000 there. I don't know who it was, right? Let's round it up to 23. Let's be nice. $23,000. But today you can melt that Rolex Submariner. You know, they call it Cookie Monster, you know, white gold, black dial, you know, purple ceramic bezel, blue, purple, you know, ceramic bezel. They take off the movement, you know, you take off the movement, you take out the hand stack, you take out the dial, you understand me? You take out the crystal and you melt it and you have there $23,000. That same watch that I told you, $58,000. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that watch, because it's gold, you know, 18 karat gold, that watch, they're going to have to do this. The Rolex authorized factory, not the authorized dealers, the factory over there in Geneva, over there, you know, over there. They're going to have to put that watch, it's at 58, they're going to have to put that watch no other than $75,000. $75,000. $75,000. You know, $75,000. If you want, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm happy you like it, Papa. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much. And he is Ariel Slayer. Thank you, Papa. Thank you very much for the compliment. So that watch, that Submariner Cookie Monster, is going to have to go to $75,000 if Rolex factory is going to continue working with authorized dealers. If not, they're going to have to come to a conclusion with these ADs and lower the 40% to, don't freak out. If they want to stay with the line, if you want to stay with the line, this is the way they're going to finish with all the authorized dealers. Papi, yo soy un genio. I'm self-proclaimed a genius. Self-proclaimed a genius, papi. I'm a genius. No sean lambones. So Rolex over there factory in Geneva, you know, over there. And the Swiss Alps over there, you know, they're going to say, you know what? We can't sell no more to that Rolex authorized dealer over there in City Center, over there in Brickell, Miami. We can't, you know, we can't do that no more. So we're gonna tell them that instead of giving them a 40%, check this out. Don't get scared. This is the way they're gonna shoot. They're gonna say, you wanna have with the line? No problem. If you can work with a 17, 18%, no problem. You stay with the line. But if you can't work no more with that, no problem. You return back the line y te va pa' casa el carajo. You know? Te va pa' casa el carajo. You just leave. You get up and you leave. Papi, what I'm dropping today is knowledge, man. Knowledge for free. Completamente de gratis. Kino, no te metas. No te metas, Kino, no te metas. Tú no sabes de esto, Kino. No te metas. No te metas, Kino, no te metas. So they're going to tell those people that have an AD in Brickell, you can stay working here because we cannot no longer give you a Rolex gold watch for 40% off what the retail is. No le da, papi, no le da. And this is the way it's going to happen now. You're going to see a lot of authorized dealers, you know, mama and papas in the Caribbean, you know, overseas in Europe. Papi se jodió. These people know exactly what they're doing, how they're going to take away all the authorized dealers and make them boutiques, you know, like Hermes, like Chanel, like Gucci. You know what I'm trying to say? Boutiques, and these people pa' fuera, because they cannot, if they're going to be working with a 15, 18%, let's say 20%, 20%. No le da para pagar la renta. You can't pay the rent, the rent fees. Está jodido, papi. Rolex is taking over, Papa. Rolex is taking over, whether you want to believe it or not. And you know who was the first to tell you that? No other than Sweet Kino. He was the one that told all of you that. But no, you didn't want to believe it. We told you how it was, how these people work, because those people from over there from Rolex, they work. You know who? With the owners of the world. They are the only ones that wear this. They wear this. This is what they wear. Y ustedes son unos lambones because you don't know what's going on. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if you are thinking of buying that gold watch, well, I'm going to give you this, just not an advice. You should look into it because you're never going to be able to touch it. You're not going to be able to touch it. Forget about that the watch has a beautiful dial, a beautiful movement, complications, perpetual, chronograph, day, whatever you want to call it. Sky dweller movement, this, that, perpetual, day. I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? You guys help me out with the words. Papi, no te lo pueden vender. They can't sell it to you. No le da. They still haven't put in there their brand, their movement, their dial, the ceramic bezel, their hand stack. You understand me? No sean lambones. No le da. No le da. So they got to tell all those authorized dealers throughout the world, these are the conditions. These are the conditions. You know what I'm trying to say? So if you're thinking of buying a gold watch, look into it and study it, because this thing is going all the way to the moon. Gold is going all the way to the moon. No se queden como lambones. Don't stick around. Don't wait around. None of these people are going to tell you the truth. None of your favorite Muppet Boiler Room secondary gray watch market dealers, they're not going to tell you. I'm not going to say channels no more because there's no more channels. I can take the liberty now of doing a live stream once a week because there's no more. Acabé con ellos. I finished them off. Those are inflated numbers. Spoofing. You know what spoofing is? They're spoofing you guys, trying to catch a little frog sleeping. La situación está jodida, papi. No hay dinero por la calle. There's no money out there. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no more free government money out there. The PPP loans are over. The government grants are over. SBA loans are over. You know what I'm trying to say? No more stimulus checks. No more pigs this Christmas. No more pigs this Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. No sean lambones. Gold is the way to go right now. Whether it's on a gold watch or whether you're buying gold bars. It's the way to go. Esto se viró al revés, papi. This turned upside down. La situación está jodida. Kino, no te vayas a meter en esto. No te metas, Kino, no te metas. This is it right here. Look, these guys right here. They control everything. But you might be thinking that I was just talking about them, about gold. I'm talking about Paddock. I'm talking about Vacheron Constantin. You understand me? I'm talking about Adamas Piquet. You understand me? I'm talking about even those watches that, they're Richard Mille watches. If they're gold, they're going to go to the moon, papi. All the way up. You guys don't want to listen to me. Look, Mazalito. Mazalito. Those people over there that I like to talk about them in 47th Street in New York City. The guy with the chiclet gums, Mazalito, que está feo con cojones. Feo con cojones. You over there, you got you got the other guy, 10 Commandments. You got their vacuum. You got the subway, the ghost subway train jumper. You know who the ghost subway train jumpers? Papi, you got to give credit where credit is due. Even though we know que son unos bandidos, they're bandits, but you have to give them credit. You have to give credit, to the Sinbad, the Sinbad with the skin tight hair, with the man bun, that they beat him up, they had a fake robbery, you know, because things are down, you know, things are down, all the way down. So he did a fake robbery, that guy too, and you have the genie, all those people there, ladies and gentlemen, they're all there, papi. These people son cretins. These people are gonorrhea. Ustedes son gonorrhea, ladies and gentlemen, gonorrhea. Kino, 32 subscribers, 20 thumbs up. No coman mierda. No sean gilipollas. Ni una peseta mandado, Kino. Not even a quarter they're giving us. Not even to show respect. Not even to show respect. Respect. Not even for the piña colada that I drank to my wife, you know. Not even that. No, Kino, no te metas, Kino. Yo sé lo que te estoy hablando, Kino. His gold is going all the way up. And those people from over there, from the 47th Street in the Diamond District in New York, they know what they were doing, papi. Those kids were taught well. They were taught well. Remember what I told you, what their fathers would do to them. Don't forget what I have told you, what the fathers would do to them. You know, those people over there, let me tell you, Jewish people, they're unbelievable. These people, they know how to make a dollar. We don't. They do. Like this, but they know how to do it. They know how to do it. You don't. Tú no tienes la facilidad. Let me tell you, just in case you haven't heard the story. The Jewish parent will take a baby son, 2 years old, toddler, a little toddler, 2 years old, put him on top of a table. And the father will say, come on, jump. And the kid, no, I don't want to jump. I said this story 1,000 times, but you need to hear it. You need to clog it up in your head. Unbelievable, these people. You need to clog it up in your head. And the father, the Jewish father, will tell the little kid with the little hat. You know, they put a little hat on the back. I don't know what's the name of the hat. Because somebody told me the hat they put on them, you know. Some of them with the hat, some of them have little curls, you know. Hey, listen, I'm not laughing at that. I'm telling you the story so you understand what I'm saying. The father will put him on the table, ladies and gentlemen. You won't believe this. How's it called? The yarmulke. The yarmulke. Unbelievable, the yarmulke. Unbelievable. The yarmulke, right? And they put him there, ladies and gentlemen. The father will say, come on, jump. I'm like, no, I don't want to do it, daddy, I don't want to do it. Come on, jump, I'm your father. No, daddy, I don't want to do it, you know. 3 years old, you know, 2 years old, 2.5, you know, already saying words, you know, in Hebrew to the father. Unbelievable, this story I'm telling you for free, ladies and gentlemen. This is a free story, ladies and gentlemen. And suddenly the father said, come on, jump, I'm your father. Obey me. Yalla, manishma. You know, manishma. And ladies and gentlemen, the little kid has the courage and decides to make the leap. You know who's that kid? That kid was no other than Eugene, a.k.a. Jacob McChicken, ladies and gentlemen. Eugene, smooth, silky hands, with a little lipstick and a little, you know, hair, you know, es una hembra. And ladies and gentlemen, suddenly, Eugene is ready to take the leap and jump into the air, into the father's arms. Right? And suddenly, when the kid leaps, the father does this. Ready? Bang, boom, pa, ping, boom, pa. Ah, ah. The kid screaming and crying. Ah. The yarmulke fell off. Is it called yarmulke? It fell off, you know. Ah! Eugene, don't cry, Eugene. Eugene, don't cry, you know. And they pick him up, Eugene, a.k.a. Jacob McChicken. And the father looks at him and he tells him, that's for you never to trust anybody. You only trust me and your mother. That's it. I'm lying. He told him, don't trust nobody, not even me and your mother. And that's the story. This is how these people built these machines. They're a terror. You know? Son una gonorrea. Son una gonorrea. But you got to give them credit, papi. You got to give them credit where credit is due. You know? You got to stop being, you know, manishma. You know, manishma. Hello. Manishma. Hello. You know, you cannot continue being crumb bums. This cost me time and efforts. Kino, que ellos no entienden, Kino, esta gente no entiende, Kino, ellos le dieron todo el dinero, al tipo ese, a Deputy Boxing Black Eyes, with the Tweety Bird haircut. You guys gave it all away already to them. You guys, if they take you and they turn you around, they will answer you. What you let go is a button. Unbelievable, you people, Unbelievable, Unbelievable. So I got to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God, So help me God, ladies and gentlemen. And that's how the story is with these people from 47th Street. These people are unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. These people are unbelievable. These people have made so much money in gold because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've been telling you this news about gold, and if anybody is here and wants to vouch for me, please do. And I don't care if you don't, but if you do, vouch for me. I've been telling you about gold for 3 years and a half already. And you people will say, who made you the boss? Who made you the boss of gold? Well, I'm the boss. I'm the boss of gold. I've been telling you for 3 years and a half, not only about gold, but also silver and rhodium. I'm telling you all that, ladies and gentlemen. I've been telling you. But you guys want to continue picking your nose, picking, y comiéndote el moco, eating the booger, because that's how you guys are. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are in a moment in life that people believe a lie, not a truth. Not a truth. They believe a lie. They want to be told a lie, because that's how it is, They want to be told a lie, ladies and gentlemen. This is unbelievable. I'm telling you, I don't have no reasons to make no more live streams daily. No hay chavo, papi. Aquí no hay nada. There's nothing here. There's nothing. The watch market is dead. The watch market is dead. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Smart money, and I mean smart money, is staying away from luxury goods. Smart money is staying away from luxury goods. I'm telling you what it is, ladies and gentlemen, and you need to know the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. I'm telling you the truth, papi. This is what it is. And if you guys want one of these Mazao hats, it's from the guy over there from 47th Street, with the big teeth, he had rotten teeth, Imagine a watch dealer having rotten teeth and trying to sell a $100,000 watch to a customer, rotten teeth. He finally went over there and he did teeth, big Bugs Bunny teeth, It's unbelievable, but you, ladies and gentlemen, I know what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. And I told you all this for free all day, ladies and gentlemen. I can say many things about the people from the Diamond District, but one thing I'm going to say is they know how to make money, papi. They know how to make money. You cannot believe everything you see, on their content, but they know how to make money. That guy, you got to be honest. That guy throughout the years who I call, the subway ghost train jumper, I believe he's the father of the guy Vacuum, vacuum cleaner. He's a young kid. He's already taking studies already, exams. He's perfecting his father's footsteps and everything. Ladies and gentlemen, that guy, the subway train jumper. I mean, you know what I'm talking about, the movie. Your Ghost, the guy that was in a train. And he would jump from train to train, Get out of my train. That deserved 25 cents. Get out of my train. Remember that guy? He told Patrick Swayze in the movie, he was mad because he would jump from train, from baron to baron. He would jump whenever he wanted because he was Ghost. He never left up there. He wanted to stay here in Broadway, in Canal Street. He wanted to stay in Canal Street, the Diamond District. Guys, I'm pouring my talent to you today. I came fresh from vacation, ladies and gentlemen, You know what I'm trying to say? Exactly. Exactly, Mr. Donut, And the guy, he stood there in the Diamond District. Well, the guy that I'm talking about looks exactly like the subway train jumper, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, this guy, ladies and gentlemen. And he You're not going to believe this. This guy has, throughout the years, respect is respect. Si tú te dejas coger, if you let yourself get taken, that's your problem. It's nobody's problem. Ellos tienen la pita. They throw the fishing rod with the bait, and if you fall, they don't have no problem. So what they do is, this man through the years has, I don't know how many gold links, gold two-tone links, dials, replacement dials with a real one that costs $80,000. You got to be honest about this, ladies and gentlemen. Hay que ser de verdad. Bait and switch game, papi. That's it. I'm telling you, the fishing rod, the bait and switch game. These people have boxes and boxes. They say that this man, this subway ghost train jumper, get out of my train. I mean, you know what I'm talking about? Does anybody knows that guy's name? The one that looks, like a monster, like he hasn't slept in 50 years. Anybody know his name? That guy. That's the guy I'm talking about. That's the guy I'm talking about. That guy right there. Thank you very much. Coño, Kino lo dieron un peso. They gave us $1. Thank you very much. Jinx, thank you so much for that $1, man. Un peso lo dieron, man. Unbelievable. Let's give this guy a sweetheart, Let's give him a sweetheart for that $1. Unbelievable, these people. Can I get it? No trabaja. It doesn't work. I don't know what's going on. I don't know, guys. It doesn't work. I'm trying to give you a heart. I think it doesn't let me because I don't know why. It doesn't let me, guys. That guy is unbelievable. That guy, he just wrote it down. I'm telling you what it is, ladies and gentlemen. I have to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God, ladies and gentlemen. These people son unos bandidos, I was telling my wife over there, these people, they're the best. And there's no, listen to me. The people in Miami ain't got nothing on the people on 47th Street in the Diamond District. The people from California, Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, Toupee Wigman, Toupee Wigman with the broken jeans, pink broken jeans, green shoes, yellow belt, flower shirt, Toupee, he's like 87 years old. He drives a Ferrari. He says he's worth $475 million. And his kitchen is old and dusty, and it's an embarrassment, because this is all an illusion to get you taken. But you guys are lucky you got me, You guys are lucky that you got me, ladies and gentlemen, No te meta, Kino. No te meta. Lo dieron un peso. They gave us $1. I tried to give them a heart, but the machine wouldn't permit me. I don't know why. I don't know why. But thank you very much again, Jinx, for that beautiful, you know what I'm saying? Look at that. There's the name right there. If you want to know who I'm talking about, it's there. That's it, right there. The name is there. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I'm proud of those people in the Diamond District, because they made here it goes, a shitload of money with gold. Gold. And not only gold, silver, And, the same time that I've been telling you about gold and silver, they've been doing it too. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I know about this business. I know about this business a whole lot. I know the players in this business. I know the players, the heavy players. I'm telling you. I mean, you guys might think I'm bullshitting you, but I'm not. And I'm going to just say my respect to the people over there on 47th Street in the Diamond District. You know who you are. Let's just start off with, the subway ghost train jumper, All right? Just to let you know. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know something about I was watching something, ladies and gentlemen. When you were young, and your mother, every year on a Monday, Monday or Friday, I remember it was Monday or Friday. Did you guys ever went to picture day? It was picture day in elementary school. You were in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, and all that good stuff, right? And your mother would prepare you with a nice little sweater, and at least me, I'm from New York, in the wintertime, a nice little sweater, your hair combed up. Picture day in school, ladies and gentlemen. And they will prepare you, and you had this company that will come to your school that day. You didn't know who the frog they were. You don't know who the hell they were, where they came from, who is the contractor. You don't know nothing. And you ask yourself, why am I saying that? Because sometimes, I will come out funny in the pictures, I will come out funny. I will come out ugly, fail. I look like a testicle. So my parents will go back to the school and say, hey, listen, I know already that the photographer left the school already and all that good stuff, but my son came out terrible in the picture that you guys sent me. Is there any way we can go, to the studio? And they say, there's no way, remember, it's a company that we don't know who they are. And we let these people come into our schools and take a picture of ourselves, an image. Let's start it from first grade, example. From first grade all the way to senior year. 12 years they've been taking your pictures, And you might be asking, why is that? Well, I'm going to tell you why, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you why, because this is, it's important for you guys to know about this. It's very important that you guys know about this. These companies that will go there, they're from big companies, the photographer. You don't know who they are, you don't know their name, you don't know nothing who they are, but you've been giving them your first name, your last name, your date of birth, where you live at. You understand me? It's called the old flim flam, the old fleecing way to get you. They start you off very, very, very young, ladies and gentlemen. It's called, if you want to know what it's called identity graph. An identity graph right now, right off the bat, those people, the owners of the world, are preparing that for you. Back in the 40s, maybe it was Merrill Lynch, J.P. Morgan. I'm giving you names. You know what I'm saying? The Rockefellers, this one, that one, Bank of America, getting all your information, your identity, your identity graph. And ladies and gentlemen, it sells today. All that identity that you have there from first grade to senior year, it sells for about, listen to this, don't get scared. Somebody got to tell you all this bullshit. Somebody got to tell you guys. Look at this, 31 subscribers, 28 thumbs up. Looking good, guys. Somebody got to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody got to tell you. And so you sell that identity graph for $2,500, right? You sell that for $2,500. Your name, date of birth, social security, parents' name, mother and father, where they live at, what they're doing. Listen and learn. No sean pendejos. Yes, we are live. We are live, Wicked. And these people have all the information. Brother, sister, grandmother, they have everything. And it's called the identity graph. And they sell that for $2,500. But for big firms, it costs 5 and 6 times that. They want to know everything about you. They want to know everything, They want to know everything about your children's identity. They want to know who you are, ladies and gentlemen, Ladies and gentlemen, and who is that person today that wants to have all the information of your children? You want to know who? Let's see if we have smart people still here in this channel. You want to know who wants all that information? I told you at one moment it was J.P. Morgan, Merrill Lynch, that one, Bank of America. You still don't know who wants that information, ladies and gentlemen? You want to know. Besides that one, that is the one. Back in the day, that was it. But ladies and gentlemen, today, this company was founded in 1988. This company was, coño, big tech. Wow. Mate, 30 West Mike. Eres grande, papá. Coño, eres grande, Mike. Eres grande, Mike. Big tech, ladies and gentlemen, big tech. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, you're there, Mike, 30 West, you're there. This company was founded in 1988, you know, by that guy, Lawrence. You know who the guy Lawrence is? Does it ring a bell? Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen, in 1988 was founded, Papi. Founded, and he's the one that today wants all your children's identity. You know, they want that, these people unbelieve, it's incredible how we as parents let these people come into our schools to dictate whatever they want with our children. Because somos los lambones, even on private schools, Catholic schools, whatever you want to call it, ladies and gentlemen, you let them in. You let them in and you're giving them all your information. With that person by the name of Lawrence, says nobody knows who Lawrence is. Says nobody knows who Lawrence is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been telling you this name for so much. That is no other than Mr. Fink Larry. Fink Larry from BlackRock. You know, BlackRock wants your children's, identity graph. They want it so they can have it there. So they can use it for AI, for government surveillance. They have 12 pictures, images of your children on what they like, what they eat, what they play. Papi, you don't know about this kind of stuff. You guys need to salute the owl. You know who the owl is? You know who the owl is? I'm going to salute him because I have respect for them. You know, you have to give him credit. You got to salute the owl at the Bohemian Grove, ladies and gentlemen. Everything that I say here is like this. Allegedly. Everything is allegedly. Everything is allegedly, ladies and gentlemen. There's not a channel like this one. There's not a channel. For free. All for free. I'm telling you. For free. For free. Ladies and gentlemen, we got today a super chat. A thank you chat of $1. $1. Let that sink in, ladies and gentlemen. Because when I'm not here no more, you're going to go, man, we need this one back again. $1. That shows me how much you appreciate this channel. And ladies and gentlemen, that guy from BlackRock, he has all your children's identity graph for 12 years. For 12 years, ladies and gentlemen. And it's these financial giants, they know it all, Papi. These financial giants know what they're doing. You think that you know what you're doing. You don't know nothing. Nothing. I was one of those children that they had all my identity graph throughout the years. What I do, how I behave, if I'm in the system, if I'm not in the system. You know what I'm trying to say? If I'm working with the system and if I'm not working with the system, these motherfuckers know too much, Papi. This is why that guy, thank you very much, Mr. Wicked, for that super chat. Thank you very much, coño. Kino Wicked lo dio 2 cañitas, bro. 2 pesitos lo dio Wicked, coño. Increíble. Thank you very much, Wicked, man. Thank you so much, Wicked, for that beautiful chat. I don't know what's going on, but I'm trying to give you a little sweetheart, but it doesn't work out. There it is. I don't know. There it is. I think you got it there. Thank you very much again from the bottom of my heart. That shows me that you guys, you want to see me around. That's beautiful. Oh my God, we got him, Thurston Howard the third. Thank you, Wicked. Thank you, Thurston. Come on, guys. Thurston Howard, Wicked, los dos, coño. Thank you for that super chat, Thurston Howell. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Again, guys, thank you so much. Very much. Thank you. I'm telling you this because you need to know about these things, what's happening, the world, the way the world is. This guy from BlackRock, Fink Larry, the CEO, he says everything, every asset. He says, BlackRock CEO, Fink Larry, he says everything, every asset on earth will be tokenized. Papi, you know what that is? Tokenized. That guy, he's been chosen by the owners of the world to run. la astilla, el dinero. You don't know about that. You don't know about that. You want to continue skip hopping around through life like rabbits. You want to continue skip hopping around through life like bunny rabbits. But you guys are lucky. You guys have me, ladies and gentlemen. It's incredible. Like I'm telling you one more time, your children's identity graph sells automatically for $2,500. But the big boys, the management firms, they pay 5, 6, 7 times that. They want to have you, papi. You know, because they belong to who? They work with. You know who he works with? Think, Larry? He works with the ICA. You know what I'm saying? He works with AI. You don't know about this. Big tech, you know? All that good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, what I'm giving you guys today is a knowledge that you guys will never forget. You guys will never forget, ladies and gentlemen, the knowledge that I'm giving you today. I came back healthy, man. Got a suntan, you know. Me and the wife were doing the shiki boom boom, you know. We were dancing. You know, I was drinking a margarita with a little umbrella, you know. I gave a couple of pop kisses to my wife because my wife loves me and I love my wife. Unbelievable what we did over there, you know. We tried to make love, but we couldn't make love, you know. It doesn't work that way no more. That's it, the truth. But ladies and gentlemen, you're not gonna believe, you know, data today, data today. You guys don't know about this. It's going to be a very valuable tool. Data today is going to be a very valuable tool. You guys should continue picking on your nose and eating it. You know, why I'm here dropping knowledge for free, papi, for free. No sean lambones, papi. I know what I'm trying to tell all of you. And if you wanna know more about this, you know, if you wanna know more about this, you know, don't pay for the John Mayer. I'm gonna do you a favor quickly. You're asking me about the John Mayer, the new one, second generation, the second generation John Mayer. A gentleman right now is asking me what is the price that he should pay for the John Mayer. Christopher, thank you very much for that super chat from the bottom of my heart, my brother. Thank you very much. You know, Christopher, Thurston, y Wicked, y Jinx, de lo dieron una cooperación. Thank you very much again. I'm trying to give him, yep, I got him. And I got him. I want you to know that today, you know, today, data is going to be an unbelievable, very valuable tool to have. Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you, all of you. All of you, by being here, you're supporting the channel, right, guys? All of you by being here are supporting the channel. Thank you very much. So I want you guys to know this, that data today is an unbelievable tool. You might say, well, what is data? Papi, they sell my data, Christopher's data, Thurston's data, Wicked's data, Mr. Donut's data. Everybody gets sold around. Papi, you know what I'm saying. Papi, I can only make it fun for you guys so you guys can relax. You know, so you guys can relax because you guys don't know about this. You know, the financial firms, they pay big money. The picture people, they get a little cut. They get their $2,500. You know, papi, how do you think when I say this to you now? And I don't know if I should say this, guys. I don't know. I need Christopher to tell me, or Thurston Howell, or Wicked, or somebody to tell me to keep my mouth quiet or keep on going. What should I do? Keep going? Say it. How do you think? Oh man, I already got a thunder lightning. And I didn't say a word. I got a thunder lightning and didn't say a word. Wow. Wow. Let me salute him, man. Wow. This is powerful. What I would tell you is powerful, but I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Those. They're listening. Yep. Let me see if they cool down. They want all your information. They want all your data. They want to know everything about you. They know where you live. You know the movie They Live, Obey? That wasn't a lie. If you haven't seen the movie Obey, They Live, you remember when the guy would open the newspaper and it would say Obey, the newspaper, with Rowdy Piper, the wrestler, He's unbelievable, that wrestler. He's an unbelievable guy, that wrestler, Rowdy Piper, he's in the movie. You got to watch the movie Obey. Obey, Thank you very much for that super chat. Pete watches, thank you very much. Unbelievable. Kino, todo mundo está cooperando. Coño, Kino, it's unbelievable. Man, we're so happy because we know now that you guys appreciate us. Thank you very much, Pete. Thank you very much. Pete, watch the collector. Thank you very much to all of you again, to all of you. But ladies and gentlemen, what I want to tell you is so powerful that you say, man, how does Juan know all this? How? Because I had a friend of mine. My father had a friend, and then my father's friend became my friend. His name is no other than Paco Gambino. 5'4", 134 pounds, always wearing a kangaroo hat, and he would tell me every time, Juan, everything is rigged. Everything is rigged. Everything is rigged, ladies and gentlemen. Everything is rigged. And ladies and gentlemen, how is it that our beloved parents, it's not their fault? Because I did it too. You understand me? My parents did it with me, and I did it with my children. So I can't. But how was it that we permitted, that these people will come into our school? We didn't even know the name of the company that was taking a picture of our children, name and all that good stuff. Papi, they're dying to get me, but they can't because I haven't said it. But you know the milk cartons, milk, la leche, milk cartons, and you have there lost and found in the milk cartons. Well, you know what I'm trying to say? The milk cartons. I'm giving you the subliminal message. That's how so many, se van. I'm only saying what it is. You guys don't want to hear it, but I got to tell you the truth. I haven't said nothing. Allegedly. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. This is the most craziest thing that you can see. If you stand, over there, this guy went over there to Greenland, Basel, Dazzle, how do you call it? Dazzle? How do you call that place where they went over there? That big thing over there, Dazzle, all the owners, the Bilderbergers, everybody was there. Everybody was there, ladies and gentlemen, flashing. And ladies and gentlemen, that guy was standing over there making, in Greenland, but it was Greenland. How's it called? Davos. There you go. Coño, I was close, right? Coño, gracias. Creative experiment, Davos. And the guy was standing over there. Unbelievable, this guy. The guy that has the little horns, but whenever he wants, he brings them out. You know what I'm talking about? That guy, Flink, And ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe. Only if you know, you know. And if you don't know, you don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, that guy was doing this when he was up there. Like that. Saluting, bro. Saluting. Papi, saluting. Saluting, Johnson. You know who Johnson & Johnson is? You know who Johnson & Johnson is, Papi? Johnson & Johnson is your toothpaste, baby powder, anything you have a little scratch in your rear end, you use one of their products. You know what I'm trying to say? Johnson & Johnson, Johnson & Johnson walking around with real big lawn pants, a big big handbag and buying Picasso paintings, you know, Van Gogh. You know what I'm saying? Do you understand? Unbelievable. Joan Miró just walking around, you know. Tomayo. Well, these people, they don't care. These people, the owners of the world. Johnson and Johnson, Papa. Johnson and Johnson, your toothpaste. You know, when your baby has a rash, you use that little medicine on them, you know? You know what I'm trying to say? They were all there in Davos. They were all there, sitting down. And that guy laid Colgate, Crest, everything you want to. Please put the names up there. Help me out, ladies and gentlemen. And ladies and gentlemen, you don't think for a moment that the guy that's in Pennsylvania Avenue, he's calling the shots. He ain't calling nothing, ladies and gentlemen. He ain't calling nothing. You got to salute him, bro. Salute him. You know what I'm saying? And this is the way Fink was, like this. All day, every day. Papi, those are the ones. Those are the ones. Those are the ones. I'm on fire today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to bombard you the whole day today. I don't even know how long I've been up already. How long have I been up already? So what is this, an hour already? It's unbelievable. An hour already. You know, but ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you this, you know, before we go into the watch market, you know. Let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you something that you guys need to know. Do you know what Freedom City for billionaires is? One more time. Do you guys know what Freedom City for billionaires is? Does anybody know? Does anybody know who Freedom City for billionaires is? No te metas aquí, no te metas aquí, no te metas. Esto es para grande aquí, no esto es para grande, no te metas. There you go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, these three gentlemen are preparing this. Mr. Bill Gates, Mr. Jeff Bezos, and Sam Altman. You know who they are? Bobby, today you're getting a class for free, man. You don't have to go to school for this. You're getting a PhD today for free. You're skipping everything. You're skipping everything today. This is going to go in chapter 33. You know what 33 is? Chapter 33. This is going on chapter 33. That's right. He salutes the owl. You know, those three cockroaches, ladies and gentlemen, they want to get together in Freedom City for billionaires and no other than those three fellows, those three cockroaches, they want to get together to do Freedom City for billionaires and no other than, ready? Here it goes. Here it goes. No other than Greenland. Greenland. You know, the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue did an unbelievable job over there in Davos. You know, and he was closing the deal. You know, the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, he's unbelievable. And he has a little pet. He has a little pet by the name of Marco Rubio, you know. So when he finishes doing his song and dance over there in Davos, you know, with those big shots over there, you know, big shots, you know, buying Picasso paintings and Van Gogh. You know what I'm trying to say? Papi, you don't know about this kind of stuff. That guy, he takes off. And he leaves. Pennsylvania Avenue leaves, and he tells his little pet, you stay here and close the deal up already. Close it up. I got to get out of here. You know, I got to go back to America. I got things to do. You take care of this over here. I got to kiss. You know what kiss is? You know what kiss is? So the guy kisses. You know, and he leaves his little pet Marco Rubio, to close the deal over there in Davos. For Greenland, ladies and gentlemen. For Greenland. And you want to know something, ladies and gentlemen? This is for them. This is them. They want to have a city. Listen to this. They want to have a city of billionaires in Greenland. You're going to have every single Muppet Boiler Room, Secondary, Great Watch Market channel coming to copy everything I'm saying to tell you guys, because they don't have no original content like no other than Sweet Kino. He has all the content in the world, ladies and gentlemen. All the content. And ladies and gentlemen, you know how much they're going to spend over there in Greenland to make that city? Freedom City? Come on, Google it. No sean pendejo. Google it. Don't be afraid. It's just me. It's just me. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to invest from one hand to the other to start this project. The one that the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue left over there, and he left his sidekick, little pet, Marco Rubio. They're going to put in $50 billion to break ground already. $50 billion. Remember, it's these three people, these three infections. They're infections in the corner of your ingrown toenail with yellow-green pus. With yellow-green pus. Jeff Bezos. I'm telling you what it is. Bill Gates and Sam Altman. They're doing that, ladies and gentlemen. Because over there, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to be doing a lot of digging. And, they have a lot of minerals over there in Greenland. They got so many things over there that it's unbelievable what they have over there, papi. What they have over there is unbelievable. And I say this because I was telling my wife, because my wife talks to me. I say, listen to me. I told my wife, listen to me, honey. It's better if these Michiganders, they all leave the United States and go over there to Greenland, to Freedom City, and leave us alone. And stop pushing, all these Pfizer, and getting us sick slowly. I tell them it's better they go over there. Let them have their own little place for billionaires. This place is for billionaires, ladies and gentlemen. This is for billionaires. If I get a thunder lightning, I'm going to shut down and I'm going to get out of here, and that's it. But somebody got to tell you the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody got to tell you the truth. And it's me. I've been chosen. Like, the owners of the world chose, Fink Larry. I'm the chosen one. I'm the chosen one, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to believe this. It's what it is for you guys. You guys got to know this, what they want. So over there, you're going to have Pennsylvania Avenue living over there and, Freedom City. Freedom City for billionaires, You got to be a billionaire to live there. Papi, this is deep knowledge, man, that I'm giving you, man. Deep knowledge. And you know how I know this? I read, man. I read what you guys won't dare to read. I read what you guys won't dare to read. It's $50 billion to break ground already. Start breaking ground. AI, they got AI. They're going to do a lot of digging there in that country of Greenland. You don't know about this, ladies and gentlemen. Tech. It's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Advanced tech. Advanced tech. You know what advanced tech is? Does anybody know what advanced tech is? Advanced. Papi, estos son monstruos. These are monsters. These are monsters. We got to forget about, the names like Macy's and, Sears and JCPenney. Papi, these are monsters. These people are working with trillions of dollars. Trillones. Trillions. Trillions of dollars, papi, You know what I'm saying? You're going to see there the Waltons. You know who the Waltons are? Does anybody know who the Waltons are? The Waltons are the ones that bring everything from China and sell it to you. Everything is made out of oil. Everything is made out of oil. Your shoes are made out of oil. Your shirt is made out of oil. Your pants are made out of oil. You don't know about that? The Waltons are going to be living over there too. They're going to be living, exactly that guy. They're going to be living over there in Freedom City. The Waltons over there, they're like around 17 brothers. They're all billionaires, because you guys been buying all their poison forever, Imagine putting on a pair of pants that's made of oil. Papi, te vas suave, te vas. You leave slowly, but you leave. I'm dropping too much knowledge. Should I stop, ladies and gentlemen? Because I skipped one. I didn't tell you what I wanted to tell you. Because if I would have told you that, this would have been done. And I thought about it, and you know what Sweet Kid Kilo did to me? He went like this to me. I'm telling you, everything is plastic. You know, there you go. Everything is plastic. And we're putting on a plastic shirt, plastic shoes, plastic pants, plastic t-shirt. Papi, esto está, brother, te estoy diciendo, this is big. You know, what AI is doing, advanced tech is doing, is monster situations over there, ladies and gentlemen. You know, they're going to be AI drilling. You know what AI drilling is? You know, drilling, Papi. You don't know about this, you know? You don't know about this. Somebody was telling me, ladies and gentlemen, they say, man, I still don't believe how that guy Rockefeller lasted to 101 years old. Come on, Papi. If you had the medicine they had, you'll last to 101 years old too. You know, it's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. Estos son monstruos. These are monsters, Papi. You don't know about this, you know? You know, fracking, everything, you know? It's crazy, you know? You know, it's crazy. Let me explain to you something, ladies and gentlemen, because you know, you guys have to. They want to have the next era of power. You know, they want to have the next era of power. They want to make sure they're going to have it. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have the next era of power. I'm talking too much nonsense now for you guys. It's a little bit too deep now, but it's what it is, guys. You know, it is what it is. So you know what's going on. I've given you all this information, and I've covered so many things. I really have, from the bottom of my heart, I really have covered so many things for you guys, because you guys need to know about this, guys. You know, I know we've been talking here for an hour, and wow, going on 90 minutes, you know, going on 90 minutes. And I hope that you really all, you know, take this, you know, into you know, into your hearts, and put it away. Whenever you want to see this live stream again, is chapter 33. And if you don't know what 33 is, chapter 33. It's a very powerful number on the owners of the world. Chapter 33, and, you know, I'm saluting them anyway. You know, I'm going to salute them, you know. I'm going to salute him like he did, you know. Like that guy Fink Larry did. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. You know, Paco always told me, these people are the owners of the world. You just got to be chosen. And they were chosen, Papi. They were chosen. And all of you, ladies and gentlemen, for our protection and our protection of our channel, I need all of you, all you 31 Organic Watch channel subscribers, to please show me an owl. An owl. You know, the owl. Show me, you know, an owl. You know, a little emoji of the owl, because we have to protect ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. This channel is under attack. You know, this channel is under attack, so you guys have to show me an owl. You show me an owl, I'm feeling good. Show me one. Show me one. There it is. That's all. That's it. That's it. Show me the owl. Show me the owl, and they will respect you. They will respect you, ladies and gentlemen. They know you for real. Show me the owl. They know you for real. Show me the owl, ladies and gentlemen. No, Kino, no te metas. No te metas. How do you say owl in Spanish? ¿Cómo se dice owl en español? Dios mío, yo no sé cómo decirlo. La pitufa, ¿cómo se llama eso? Listen, only 6 owls of 31. There you go. That's how we do it. We have the owl on this channel. You remember in Jackie Gleason, there was one of the shows, Ed Norton and Jackie Gleason, you know, Ralph Cramden, they bought a TV between both of them, you know, because their TVs broke, so they bought a TV among themselves. And there was a part in that show that Ed Norton, you know, Norton, he was Captain something. He would wear a helmet like from Mars. This is from the 1950s, you know, 1950s. And he was Captain, I don't know what his name was, but we're like them too. We have the owl, you know, we have the owl power. All this is the owl. Unbelievable. I forgot the name of what he wants. Captain America, Captain Wizard, you know, and Ralph Cramden didn't like him because he would come with a helmet, you know. Did you guys ever saw that one? You know, Captain. Nobody ever saw that episode. You gotta see it, all right, guys? And we're like that because we have the kangaroo. Guys, this has been an unbelievable watch market update show. You know, I'm gonna be honest. I've been too long that I don't think I can give you a watch market update. But tomorrow, tomorrow's a good day, I can give you a watch market update because you know, el búho. Captain, I forgot the name what it was, man. It was Ed Norton, and he Captain something. He would wear a helmet, you know, a helmet like he was going to Mars, you know. Thank you very much for the owl. That shows respect, Papi. This is the owl channel. You know, we salute the owl and we do the wings. You know? You know what I'm saying? We do it, it's what it is, guys. Guys, I'm a little bit still jet lagged. You know, I'm a little bit jet lagged still. And I'm gonna take a rest, and tomorrow I'll give you guys a watch market update. I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, I'll give you a nice watch market update. I want all of you to know this. I want all of you to know this because somebody asked me, and I don't think I got distracted and I didn't give him the price, but I'm gonna give him the price for that. He asked me for a Rolex yellow gold Daytona with a green dial with green gauges. Excuse me, not green. Green dial with gold gauges, you know? Champagne, gold gauges. This is the new reference number. I'm gonna give you that one already, the 126508. Okay, 126508. Is it that one? 126508. I'm gonna give you that so you can know what's happening with that watch. And this is the second generation of the John Mayer. And ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want with your money. You do whatever you want. Sir, you wanted this watch, I'm gonna give it to you. Don't pay for that watch more. You do whatever you want. You can continue believing these people who are spoofing you around, who are just spoofing prices around, throwing prices to see if they stick against the wall. Don't pay for that watch more than $73,000 and dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in the Arkansas farmhouse. Ladies and gentlemen, in behalf of me and Sweet Kid Kino to me, Joaquin to you, we want to say thank you very much for joining us today on this live stream. It's been a lot of fun. It's been truly, truly a lot of fun. I hope you guys learned something from what I dropped today, the knowledge that I dropped, and how I know how the watch market is dead and is going to continue dropping faster than Billy Boy's pants in the Arkansas farmhouse. I'm telling you everything I told you. Freedom City, you know. I tell you about the Las Vegas auction. You know what I'm saying? I tell you about Picture Day. I tell you too many things, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I tell you about, you know, in life, BlackRock says every asset on earth will be tokenized. All right, guys? From the bottom of my heart, thank you very much for joining us in the live stream. And thank you very much for all the thank you chats and all that. And all of you for being here, which that's the most important thing. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much again. And I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Take care and brush your hair. Good night, guys. Good night. Good day.